Dear distinguished participants, speakers, university leaders, faculty, business, and students, I wish you all a very warm welcome to the second part of the 2020 PRIME Global Forum. We started off already some hours ago, about 16 hours ago, and closed some hours later. And today it's my great pleasure to sort of welcome you to the second part. We have three parts of this Global Forum this year to accommodate for the different time zones. And this is the Eastern Hemisphere session, and it has been by Belinda Gibbons poetically called As Daylight Rotates. We are on an important journey, a journey that is more important than we had ever imagined. PRIME's mission is to create a global movement and thought leadership for responsible management, and the need for PRIME in the world has never been larger than right now. We're in the midst of a pandemic crisis, new visibility of racial injustice and climate change. At the PRIME Global Forum, we call for all of us to carefully rethink what it means to be a responsible leader and to be a responsible educator of management education. And for all of us at this Global Forum to rethink what the future of management education could look like or should look like. In the words of United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, he said, PRIME was launched in 2007 to nurture responsible leaders, and never has this task been more important. He said bold leadership and innovative thinking are needed to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And someone very wisely said about crisis, it is a chance, the crisis is a chance to do things that you had never considered or had never thought possible. This is such a moment for responsible management education and for PRIME. I'm sure that you, like me, believe that management schools, universities, higher education in general are among the most important and influential institutions in the world. And now is the time to reimagine that role that higher education could play. And what is our impact on society? What is it that we strive for? And if I can be honest with you, when I ask my colleagues, when I ask professors, it is not always that I get a very clear answer on exactly that question. I know that we want research impact, and I know that our schools are set up to promote research impact, measured in very specific algorithms. And that's good, because we need strong, rigorous, truthful, and fact-based research. But we often also forget to measure and reward that direct and immediate impact that we have on our societies, namely the impact that our students bring in to society. Every year we graduate students, thousands of students all over the world who bring that knowledge into society. And those theories, the models and the mindsets that we're teaching them is what they bring in to their decision for how the future is going to look like for the planet and for society. Maybe you also remember that professor who made all your studies for you meaningful, and who is still there with you in your mind 20 years later when you make decisions. It's a big responsibility that we put on the shoulders of our educators. This is a responsibility with an impact that is sorely underappreciated in our institutions. I think there's a strong need to learn from each other, north, south, east, west, and to exchange good ideas of how that impact what that impact could look like, and what it does look like in some parts of the world that other parts of the world could learn from. I myself learned a lot in my role as board member of the Lego Foundation, where we have a lot of projects around the world. And I've seen how projects in Africa have been truly inspiring for projects in the northern parts of Europe, and vice versa. So I think this is the kind of exchange on management education and responsible leadership that we should continue to engage in and strengthen in the PRIME community. My message to you is don't underestimate your own influence. It is in the school boards, it is in the top management decisions, and it is not least in the classrooms that we make a great impact. Today is a pivotal moment for Prime. After a challenging period of a leadership vacuum and limited capacity in the Prime Secretariat, today is a moment for new leadership, a new Prime board, new governance, and for Prime to take new important steps, having set a new strategy. And one of the important strategic objectives that I have set to start off with to make that new strategy happen is to ensure that we will develop our relationships, strengthen our ties with partners all over the world. And one of them, important one of them, is the United Nations Global Compact. Also, what I will be working with, and I've already said that some of that work in motion, that is to strengthen the work of the chapters. The regional chapters are the backbone of Prime, and some of them are working very, very well, and some of them have just started. And in my inbox, I have also new suggestions to start up new chapters. So that is a very important target for me to focus on that. So now we're in the middle of the exciting Global Forum 2020, and it seems like the technology is with us. We have been practicing a little bit, and I can't guarantee that it's going absolutely smoothly. We're on a steep learning curve, but I'm impressed by how well we can be together apart in this space of the world. We have actually yesterday we had more than 900 participants on this platform engaging with us and being very active on the chat. And I encourage all of you also to actively engage on the chat, and of course also on Twitter and elsewhere to engage with each other and also to engage with us here in the rooms all over the world. So I'm truly delighted to see such a strong commitment to Prime from so many of you today, and thank you for that. So now it is my true pleasure to welcome on this virtual stage here with me Dr. Danica Purg, and Danica is the president of CEEMAN, and she's also the president and founder of IEDC, Bled School of Management in Slovenia. Danica Purg has been appointed by Lise Kingo, the former CEO of the United Nations Global Compact, as the acting chair of the Prime Steering Committee back in December. And over the past half year, she has set the stage for the new Prime board and for the overall new strategic framework that has been launched just a few weeks ago. And this has been a very challenging task, I think it's fair to say. And I've been following the process, working to support Danica on this journey. And I've been impressed by the work and that has been done, and the steady and firm hand with which Danica has led this process. So Danica, please, I welcome you on this stage now. Welcome.
Hello, hello. I shall not say good morning, although it is 7 o'clock in Slovenia, and I woke up because of you. But very early this morning, but I'm so happy to be with you, and I shall be even more happy if one day I finally visit Australia, New Zealand, and all these wonderful countries in your part of the world. I was one day, it was also the morning, I received the message from Lise Kingo, as you heard already, from Mette, the new head of Prime, who is also the result of this last period. You know, and she also told me, she said you should guide Mette, but it was not necessary to guide her because she was before that making a lot of great explorations. She was researching and interviewing everybody in Prime. So we got a person in Prime who is really knowing a lot and who is a great personality. And this is what I am the most appreciating when I work with people. This is the best what somebody can offer, him or herself. And so I was getting this message and telephone call and then a letter whether I can take over for, you know, as an interim chairperson of PRIME, of steering committee of PRIME, and make the new governance, because PRIME was in that time in transition, make new governance, make the new business model, and also the new strategy. And of course, now, you know, the new strategy, we made a frame for it, because, but we are thinking that the new strategy will come now in this frame by the made by the new board member, we call it now board, and by new board members and by new chairperson, Ilyan Michov, the Dean of INSEAD, whom I was in fact officially yesterday at PRIME Forum, Global Forum, passing over this function. So I was really, this was really a nice case, how to do it. Firstly, it was most of it, firstly I had to listen, like every leader has to listen, what are the issues, how to make this organization even more vivid, you know, having 800 members, but many should be more active than they are. And we were already, when I was as a president of CEEMAN, presiding for 1 year, this was in 2013, to PRIME, to presiding PRIME, I was then already, we said we would like to have 1,000 members. So this did not happen yet, but I'm sure that it will happen because we need PRIME more than ever. And through the work of PRIME, we can be all connected and we can create a big impact. So as I'm an ambitious person and as I was collecting around myself a group of great people, and I created an interim management council, you know, we are of course, we were all ambitiously talking about the goals. And we said that PRIME has to be a thought leader and an acting leader in the world for the values of PRIME and the values of humanity in general. And so, as Mette said already, this organization should create impact. Impact on ranking organizations, impact on all kinds of rating agencies, impact on curriculum, you know, on the school's leadership, that there is no school or no university, no management schools where ethics and sustainability and all other 6 principles of and SDGs also would not take a place in the curriculum as a required subject. Not, and you know, to let people write about that, to let people explore in their own environment, so that management education is not only excellent but also relevant for globally and locally. And so with this in mind, I decided to go to the roots of the organization. And as I was present there 12 years ago at the Case Western University, where was David Cooper-Ryder organizing a big conference, and like a first global forum, I could say. And at that conference, we decided to create PRIME. This was really fantastic, this, you know, to start to do something from scratch, to organize people from all over the world to come for one big goal. And so I invited to this interim council, David Cooper-Ryder, Nicola Klein, Dean of Gordon Institute of Business Science from South Africa, from Johannesburg, a great school in Africa that is really paying a lot of attention to bring up the young generation in another spirit. I have to say I was very impressed when I came first time there and see how they work with townships, how they are, you know, helping to young people, young entrepreneurs who don't have a real opportunity to start up the businesses, etc., and to make them, to help them, to give education for that. And then, of course, I invited also Lisa Fröhlich, president of Cologne Business School from Germany. She's leading an active so-called DACH chapter, the countries from, you know, from Germanic languages. And she, you know, the group of these people in Switzerland, Germany, etc. And she was, is organizing, her school is organizing every year a great international conference on sustainability. And then Andrew Main Wilson, the CEO of AMBA, because I took him in because I was thinking this is very good because he has a kind of a, you know, he had experience. He was the last on the old platform, last president, last chairperson of steering committee of Prime, so he would bring some experience in. And then, of course, Belinda Gibbons, whom I'm greeting very much from here today, who is the leader of the chapter and who was really very helpful with her ideas in this group. And then Norman Arruda Filho, president of the ISAE FGV Brazil, also a legend in his continent in this field. So we were trying to make a new governance, a new board. And in that board, we took very much care that we were, that this was an inclusive board, that we had geographical and gender diversity, that we had people who were successful in Prime projects till now already, academic and business collaboration. And, you know, we were taking care that we have both representatives there and ethical reputation. And so we have, we want to have around 20 members. So far we have 17. From that are 10 men and 7 women. And they represent Africa, Asia, Central and Southeast Asia, Europe, Latin America, North America, Asia Pacific, etc., etc. You know, of course, United States and Europe, and so on. And I shall now show you the slides. But what I wanted to say is that a very important factor was that we were have a dean from INSEAD, now the Ilian Michov, who is somebody whom we met before and who made himself known also about as a great professor, but at INSEAD, at this famous school, but somebody who is I shall show you now the list of people. That's the best, because I'm talking about them. And so he showed at last Forum Davos also, and there people noticed him, you know, about his view on principles of responsible management education. Then you see Anasio Conedo, the Dean of Lagos Business School, one of the most important business schools on the African continent. Then Azil Beko Jahmetov, the president of Almaty University, Alma-U from Kazakhstan. Somebody, his school was getting a prize from CEEMAN because of an award just for sustainability, and his people are there very much working for that aims. Then you have Haifeng Huang, the director of Center of Green Economy from Peking University, who is also every time, whenever we go to international conferences, impressing everybody with his how much he did already in this field, what his university did, and how much innovation he brought in this field. And then we have Stefania Giannini, Associate Director General for Education at UNESCO. You see, that is what I was telling you about collaboration and reputation, to collect all these people together. And then Norman Arruda, President of ISAE Brazilian Business School in Brazil. I've told you, the legend for me. Lisa Fröhlich, you see. Then James Walsh, Professor at Michigan Ross, USA, and former President of Academy of Management. We did not have so far this academy involved now. And then Paul Polman, one of the most famous people in the world, persons in the world. He is the founder of Imagine, the former president of Unilever, the company that made so much in this field of sustainability, and he is very active in UNGC. So Mette tried to put back and in better cooperation, in better relationship, UNGC and Prime. And I think she's right, because we have to work hand in hand together. There they have business, we represent academia, and we could do the things greatly together. And then you have Belinda Gibbons, whom you all certainly know, and then Urs Jäger. So I don't need to introduce Belinda to you, because she comes from your part of the world. And then Urs Jäger, associate professor in Costa Rica, INCAE Business School. And then Tina Bansal, the professor at Ivy, Richard Ivy Business School in Canada, founder of the Network for Business and Sustainability. And Sophie Charrois from Switzerland. And Andrew Wilson, CEO of AMBA, as I mentioned already. And then Mrs. Kang, the president and dean of Asian Institute of Management from Philippines. And you will be surprised, pleasantly surprised, I hope, because we just last days we were finding we wanted to have an Indian in, and now Ranjan Banerjee. I didn't talk to him, to all others, most of them I did. So I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrongly. So what did we say? As I mentioned already, with this group together, I think that Ilyan Mihov will really have a great team to work with, and that and I shall show you, still one slide, which I want to say that this United Nations largest organized initiative with management-related higher education institutions has a great vision and mission, and we want to create a global movement. And this is, this is for me the most important, to go back to the roots, not to have a bureaucratic organization, but to have a global movement and thought leadership on responsible management education, and to create a great impact. We were also making a new business model, how to finance ourselves, that everybody should pay the membership, equally to your possibilities, so that if we have a school somewhere in the world that does not have, that it has in a small budget, I have to say like that. It's not that we are supporting and helping, etc., but we are normally understanding that people can contribute according to their possibilities, and making everybody, a decent how should I say, contribution. So organization, optimizing the governance and global operations, clarifying the brand. We hope that you will all help us to create this brand to become even more powerful and more mobilized. And Mette mentioned already the fact that we have all over the world still racism and all other things that and poverty, etc., that we should fight against, and mobilizing community to aligning closely with the 2030 UN agenda. So thank you very much. This would be from my side. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I'm looking forward to meeting you again at one of the PRIME conferences, because I shall certainly stay the ambassador of PRIME, and do my best what I can do through CEEMAN, the association of 220 business schools from 55 countries, which started as Central and East European association, but it became a global one, where we are also very much concerned about impact and about relevance of management education. And if we add still the high ethical standards, then we are there where we would like to be. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day further. Bye.
Thank you so much, Danica, for this wonderful going through the new board of PRIME, and also the new overall strategic framework that has been decided to guide PRIME into the future. And definitely this is not a goodbye to you, but it is a big thank you on the behalf of the PRIME community for the great job that you've done over the past year. And it is a hasta la vista, because you will be there also to support us going into the future. And I'm very, very happy to know that you are there for us. So now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Srinivasa Adipalli. And Srinivasa is a partner and CEO of Global Gyan Academy of Management Education. Srinivasa, you've also been, before being the CEO of the Academy of Management Education, you've also been the Chief Strategy Officer at Tata Communications. And you've also taught and are teaching at business schools around the world on responsible management. So it's my big pleasure to introduce you or to welcome you here to the Prime stage. You are one of the partners of Prime. So please take the stage. Welcome.